Rajesh ji, great talking to you. Thank you so much for having us at Sangamner.
Yeah, most welcome, sir.
No, the pleasure is
pleasure and
entirely
privilege.
ours. No, the pleasure is entirely ours. You know, I was doing a little bit of a research on your group. I was talking to Team Nuama about why do they feel that you as a business leader and the Malpani Group as a group is truly exceptional. And I think one thing that came out is that as a house, as a family, all of you are truly bonded even after so many years of working together and carrying the business together. Would you believe that is the secret sauce of your group being such an exceptional group?
Definitely, joint family business has its own advantages. Now, this is our fifth generation has entered into business. I am in fourth generation. The business was started by my great grandfather, and now we are fourth and fifth generation together in the business. And joint family definitely has its own advantage. I call it 2AB advantage.
280.
Yeah, suppose there is a person by name A, one B. If both double their business, it becomes A square plus B square. But if you put A plus B together in the bracket and then do square, it becomes A square plus B square plus 2AB. So this plus 2AB is definitely an advantage. Definitely, in playing this game of joint family, there are certain rules that you have to abide. But for any teamwork game, the rules have to be there and you have to follow certain rules. But otherwise, the benefits are definitely enormous.
But I guess also that in a business which is now so large and spread across so many business lines, if you will, or verticals,
Right.
it is actually a great space for everybody to grow and contribute to the common growth, I presume.
Obviously, and that was the whole reason for starting this diversification drive. We were in tobacco business and we are in tobacco business, that is our ancestors' business. But this is a sunset industry with government anti-tobacco policies, the heavy tax structures. There are limitations of growth. Plus, we are 5 brothers, and for each brother to prove his mettle, we thought that we should be diversifying into different lines. Many tobacco people have diversified into either gutka or some smoking industry because that's a related, easier diversification. But long back, I came across one book by Dr. Brad Rodo. The book name is For Smokers Only. And it says how smokeless tobacco is 98% safer than smoking. So you quit if possible, but if you can't quit, then switch to smokeless because nicotine is not carcinogenic. Nicotine is addictive, like caffeine, tannin, nicotine, all these are addictives. But nicotine is not carcinogenic. What is carcinogenic is the tar and epoxides which gets generated because of burning of tobacco. So we thought we won't go for that. In fact, there is one other book by Dr. Marks and Stern which says that smokeless tobacco doesn't cause cancer because these tar and epoxides are never generated as it is not burnt. So if somebody by chance develops cancer, the chances are same as somebody who is not at all consuming tobacco also develops the cancer because there are other reasons also. But in India, what happened later on, a lot of this pan masala gutka product came, and surprisingly, supari is carcinogenic without burning also. But tobacco is not. So we decided let's diversify into something different and not gutka and smoking. So we then diversified in 2001 into renewable, 2005 into parks, real estate, education, and all these other businesses.
Interesting. So there has been these various forms of diversification that you've done. But if I'm not saying that you are a rags to riches story, but every small to big story, if not a rags to riches story, has 2 or 3 points of inflection in their life journey, right? When did you feel that you have moved, or there are these points of inflection which will make you much larger group in size and a much wider group in business segments, not just tobacco, but the other businesses?
Yeah, we were earlier, this is the ancestors' business, tobacco, started by my great grandfather, Jagannathji Malpani. he moved from Rajasthan, small arid town, Anwana, to Maharashtra and to Sangamner. And he was working in some grocery shop where there were 2 bags of tobacco which were wet because of rains or something. And the owner wanted to dispose them off. So he said, dispose them off, sell it or destroy it, whatever. So my grandfather said, since this tobacco is suitable for making snuff, he bought it for 1 rupee. These 2 bags were bought for 1 rupee. So you can say the group journey started with that 1 rupee seed capital.
Interesting.
Obviously, it grew slowly.
Yeah.
And when my father got married, my mother remembers father telling her that रूप में लक्ष्मी आई है तो पहले बार अपना सेल साल का 1 लाख रुपया हुआ है. So this was 1961, which when the sale was 1 lakh rupees. Then gradually it grew, but the major growth happened after automation and other things when our generation joined the business. But obviously, because it was a sunset industry and with anti-tobacco, we decided, as I told, to diversify into different lines. And as it's a joint family, each brother took interest in different verticals. And that's how these verticals grew. From renewable, real estate, and
Wow.
parks.
Got it. But I also read when I was researching about your group that while it is a great success story, it has not been all smooth rides for you. You've seen businesses which have had issues. You've seen strikes. You've seen business closures as well. How have these times been for the group at large? Have they been a learning experience, or do you think about it differently? That यार अच्छा होता ये business नहीं करते तो.
Yeah, on business front, there were some difficulties. On personal front also, there were some difficulties. I will share both.
Okay.
On business front, definitely we started couple of businesses which didn't grow. We decided to shut them. Sometimes exiting from the business is more beneficial than continuing with it if you are not happy with it. So we exited from one edible oil business. We had started Utsav Tetra Pak oil, edible oil. Being a FMCG product, we thought that will move in our chain. But with all the fluctuations, rate going up and down every day, that was not our cup of tea. We decided to stop that business. But our philosophy for all the new businesses has been start it small, test the water, and then go deeper. So the investments done were not very heavy initially. And before that, we decided to exit. Similarly, we exited from a snacks business. Namkeen ka bhi business chalu kiya tha. And we decided that it's a 5 rupee, 10 rupee pack, more of plastic rather than inside a pack. And we decided let's not continue that. So, and whoever tries various things, obviously 2, 3 out of 10 will fail. And you should be never afraid of such failures when you do it with all proper planning.
Got it. What about the personal thing?
Yeah, personal thing that I would like to share is I got married, had a first daughter. She was brilliant, beautiful, everything. Then I got second son. He was the first son of next generation. उनका दीपक अपने यहाँ जो टर्म है तो दादी जी का सोने की सीढ़ी का प्रोग्राम हुआ, सब कुछ हुआ. And then after 6 months we realized that his growth is not normal. And then when we took him to doctor said that sorry, he's not a normal child. He has special needs and there is no recovery in this. You will have to teach him, give physiotherapy, make him a little bit independent, but he will never be normal in life. That really shook us, both of us, me, my wife. And we were so depressed. So one of my friends suggested, you come to Vashi for Swami Sukhabodhananda's life program. And we went for that program. And on the second day while talking, question and answer session was there. So Sangeeta asked this question, Swamiji,
Wow.
such and such thing has happened with us. why God has done this to us, Swamiji. So Swamiji said, okay. And Swamiji made us sit. He took a paper, he drew a black circle, black dot on it, solid circle. And he showed to all the attending, जो शिविरार्थी बैठे थे, what do you see? It was very clearly visible, everybody was seeing the black dot. So everybody said black dot in the center, black circle in the center. And then Swamiji said, see, you are all, then he again said, okay, and he asked Sangeeta, how is your family? Can they afford to raise the kid? Yes. Is there any problem in keeping attendant? No. All the medication, hospitalization, everything is fine, Swamiji. How are the family members support? Are they supporting you? Yes. Your husband? Yes. Everything is good, Swamiji, but Swamiji. Why? So then Swamiji said, this is the question I ask, and if everybody was seeing the black spot, if you focus on that thing, there are so many other good things around that you won't see, and life will be stressful. So somewhere that has happened, it has certain पूर्व जन्म का उसका कुछ कर्म होगा कि अच्छे घर में आया है, and he wanted to do. So Swamiji explained it philosophically also, but the major thing was, why you are not seeing the remaining white paper is the question he asked to all the peoples. And we have to count the blessings rather than focusing on the curses or what went wrong. That was such a great realization. I mean, these stories I have heard before, but that particular mental state was such that I really got soaked into me, that attitude of gratitude, which we have heard of. But really, then I realized so many things. In that interval, somebody said that I have 2 daughters like that, and he couldn't even afford to take care of them. I mean, there are so many other things. Comparatively, we were much better off. But that particular lesson taught me attitude of gratitude, and since then, we have always focused on positive side on the thing and not on the negative.
But that's the personal side. Does that help in the business as well?
Everywhere it helps. I mean, whatever happens in business also, if you see what could have gone wrong, what much more could have gone wrong. So you are, if you see the positive side in the business also, most of the incidences or journey has both sides. And if we keep focusing on positive sides, it's not guaranteed that you will succeed. But if you focus on negative things, failure is guaranteed. Okay. So you have to focus on positive things and work on possible options. I mean, you have to do in business also, not focus on what you don't have, but what you can do with what you have. If you focus on that, it really works.
Interesting. Thank you for this lesson. Very interesting. Rajeshji, the other thing that you said in that answer was that you test a business for some time and then see if it succeeds or no. So I have 2 questions here. I was speaking to Prashantji and I learned that the testing phase could often last as long as 10 years. So have you done that for a lot of your businesses, that you've kind of given it time for maybe more than a year or 2, maybe even 5, 6 or 7 years, and then come to a decision that no, let's close this business? How tough is that decision to cut your losses?
Yeah, both. For successful businesses also, we have given enough time. We always have followed this principle that while testing any new vertical, start with small, test it, test the water, and then jump into deeper water. So in 2001, we did this renewable project, first project. So small windmills of that time, that was the largest model. But it was a small project comparatively, done in Satara. And we saw there were so many hindrances. वो आके वो काट लेता था. The issues were there. The farmers used to raise problems. Sometimes we were frustrated and we thought, why we are doing this business when the parent business is doing good. But we decided, let's consistently and steadily grow it. From 2001 to 2011, we reached only to 80 megawatt. But from 2011 onwards till 2017, we added another almost 550 megawatt to that PT, and business become to 611 along with some solar projects spread in 8 different states. Because the first project or first couple of projects that teaches us all the rules of that game. Each of this game is new. तो पहले गली में खेलो और फिर pitch पे बड़े pitch पे जाओ, then you become a national level player. And the journey is like that in business also many times. I have seen some of the business, they just jump, over leveraged, make a big start, and then if something goes wrong, it really collapses. So as these 2 businesses closure I mentioned, we started small, and before we did further higher investments, we decided to quit. So the harm was not much. Same thing was with our park. In 2005, we did that first water park in Shirdi.
Okay.
Shirdi being a religious place very nearby, 1 hour drive from Sangamner. And we thought a lot of people are coming, so we had bought one land. Initially, we thought of making a hotel there. But then we thought that rather than making a hotel, there are a lot of hotels and Sansthan is also building more rooms. Let us do something synergetic to those hotels. And we decided for first water park business. My cousins, Manish, Girish, they had been abroad, they have seen the water parks, so they decided let's start a water park. And that was the first water park with Indian rights. So again, the investment was limited. And with that success and how the water park is seasonal, what happens in summer, winter, school trips, etc. The second park was done 10 years after first park, 2016. Wow. But that was then largest park in India, then in Lonavala. Then we did heavy investment with all international rights. Then amusement park was also added there. So all that investment, but we knew the details of that game and the rules of the game.
Got it.
So
and that's how Imagica might also have happened because you knew kind
after
of.
When we saw that ad for Imagica, the bankers wanted to, it had become an NPA account and bankers wanted to auction it. But we had experience of 4 parks, 2 in Shirdi, 2 in Lonavala, and we were confident. Then we did that SWOT analysis for Imagica also. What are the strengths? The brand was very strong. It was very well known. The vicinity to Mumbai, the financial capital, and to Pune also, vicinity to our park. Lot of good standard. We visited a couple of times.
Sure.
Very good theme rights were there. The team was good. So strengths were there. Obviously weaknesses were there, that it was over leveraged. The interest burden was very heavy. The operating costs were very high. Unnecessary manpower was there. The power cost was very high. Electricity bills were quite heavy. But we knew answers to all those questions. And then we decided to opt for Imagica. And we were the only serious bidder for that. And it proved to be win-win for all of them. I mean, for shareholders, for the park lovers, for the banks also. For everybody, it was a win-win rather.
Are you bullish on that business even now? A lot of people say that 1, it is AI proof, and 2, it is foreign competition proof. Nobody's going to be able to do an import substitution of a theme park business. Are you constructive on that business?
Yeah, because now people want, I mean, in India also when we started it, it was quite new and people didn't spend their picnic in parks.
That's true.
They were used to some free, Bushi Dam chale gaye, Lonavala jaake, that was free, though that was quite risky.
Yes, it was.
And you might have read a lot of incidences in water, on seashore or in dams.
Yes.
But that was a new business, new culture to be developed in India at a reasonable cost, because in India many times family goes together for a picnic.
Yes.
And when there are 6-8 people from the family, ticket has to be reasonable for one day spending. So all these learnings did happen in due course. But we are still bullish because experience is something that is something different. I mean, it doesn't come out of, we give kind of promotion schemes on our other FMCG products or school trips we arrange. everybody feels so happy,
Happy.
enjoying it,
Yes.
that they say instead of giving us a cash, because that anyway goes to bank account, this experience is more important,
Yeah.
and that is gradually catching up. So we even after Imagica, we acquired one park from Surat, one water park, which had become sick because of Corona and other. It was leveraged, and then we built one new park in Indore also. And now we are going with some indoor gaming stations.
Interesting.
We have taken a franchisee for Dave and Buster's USA and started already one in Bangalore, one in Mumbai. And that business
Want to expand.
it's going to grow.
Very nice. Okay. Interesting. And a very valid point, because I recently read this emergence of this bhajan clubbing thing, wherein families are going together. You mentioned about families going together
Yeah.
to parks. I think these are family outings that are so native to India. That is really good. I have a follow-up question though on the last 2 or 3 questions that you've spoken about, and it takes me back to my main earlier question. Have you had to close down a business after operating it for a longer period of time? Let's say it took you time to realize that this is not for you. And if so, how difficult is that decision? Because you start a business, maybe closing it within 1.5 years is relatively easy, but maybe closing it after 5-7 years is difficult. So have you had to do that? And what are the lessons from such an exercise?
Yeah, fortunately, we didn't have to close it down, but we had to take a step backward. We did a one big solar project of 50 megawatt in Rajasthan.
Okay.
That was under renewable energy certificate mechanism. And there was almost no demand to these certificates. And the government was giving the minimum. There was a PPA, but that PPA was yearly renewable PPA. So they used to do only a PPA for 1 year, and next year at their will, the PPA was renewed. But later on, this REC climbed, we could recover the investment. And then government took a step back that we don't want to renew it at such a high rate. So we'll renew it at only 2 rupees a unit, which was barely, we were barely getting the maintenance and other things out of it. I went to see the minister there. They said, no, we don't want this project now. You can take them out. These projects are not so easy to move out. So we decided, let's continue with it. Most of the investments was recovered by way of good realization through RAC. And the pension will continue. So we continued. That project is still there, generating nicely. Similar thing happened with our amusement park in Lonavala. After successful water parks in Shirdi and Lonavala and one theme park in Shirdi, we decided let's go for amusement park. And we did an international standard which will give a world-class experience with all international rides, with a heavy capex. But in India, though we knew that this is a seasonal industry, mainly the visitors come only in summer vacations. And in summer vacation, they enjoy dipping into water. More than going onto a dry, hot day ride. So somehow the response was not to the mark. Then we merged that park with our water park. And we made one common park. Fortunately, it was just adjacent to the water park and we could merge both of them. And that move really succeeded, and the number of visitors doubled. Plus in summer, on peak days, we used to close the doors because of the heavy rush at times. But because the park was doubled, we could accommodate any kind of number, any kind of visitor number there. And that really worked well. So, I mean, such setbacks are there that you have to correct your own working decisions. But fortunately, we didn't have to really shut it down.
Could this hold true for Imagica business as well, that people like going to the wet parks more than the dry parks? And therefore, then what explains your optimism on that business?
Yeah, Imagica is not an amusement park. It is more of a theme park plus amusement park.
Okay.
So theme is indoor also, and they have excellent themes there.
Got
it. We have further added to that. So there are amusement rides, but more is indoor theme parks, which are air-conditioned
I hear you.
theme parks. So
Got it, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, one more question on the renewables business. So one, Actually, two-part question. One, your renewable business you have had when you started off. I think the system also was going through policy changes which were very constant. Maybe you experience ups and downs which are a lot more volatile. Were those tough times, and how did you manage the morale of the family and people associated in that business during those tough times? Part two of my question, sir, is what is your belief about what happens to the renewable energy businesses in India in the future? Because India has a very tall target of reaching a renewable energy goal by 2030. Does this mean that the growth will be very strong? So, two-part question, please. One of the past and one is for the future.
Yeah, in the past, our renewable energy business was leveraged business. I mean, we took loans on productive business only. There is a Marwadi saying, I don't know if you have heard that, डूबे गारे तीन जना, पूंजी कम व्यापार घना, आय कम खर्चा घना, और जोर कम गुस्सा घना. The first part is punji kam vyapar gana. I have a limited capital, but I will do this also, this also, this also. My friend has earned nicely in shares, so let me invest in shares. He has earned nicely in bullions, somebody in land. And your main capital gets diverted to different businesses, and especially when do that with borrowed loans, any down cycle will hit you very badly, especially if the capital is taken out of main business and put into such activities. So loans we took on renewable projects because we had a bankable PPA in hand. The power purchase agreement with the corresponding state governments were for 25 years. I mean, after that, some government tried to backtrack on that and say that, no, we don't want to continue with this PPA. But then people went into court and they lost that. Once you have committed for 25 years, this particular rate, you have to buy it for 25 years. I mean, that was there. Then the payments got delayed at times. But then again, central government intervened and did some for past payment. They decided installments, but future payments started coming on time. So at times only we had to put our own money for repayment. Otherwise, they were self-paying project. Policy changes kept happening, and accordingly we moved to different. That's why we didn't put all the projects in one place. We have a project of 6 different EPC companies like Suzlon, Enercon, Region, Inox. 6 different companies projects are there, and they are spread into 8 different states. Solar projects also different. L&T did it, Sterling and Wilson did it. So best. And all these projects we did with a long-term view, and we wanted to keep them for long-term. Many times people just construct the project, do the valuation game and get exited. And then they are least bothered about the quality. It's the only number that matters, that how much megawatt I have achieved. But each of our project was done with the best material, and though it was a bit costlier, but long lasting, because we wanted to retain the project for longer time. That's why we got couple of good opportunities and offers also. But we decided that we'll keep the project, because then I will come to your second question, that the project has future. Renewable definitely has a very good future, and now with whatever you are recently also we are seeing with these wars, whatever is happening to petroleum and the energy dependent on petroleum products and other things, gas, etc. Renewable is, because India has a base of wind season. I mean, we have all three seasons, and plus good sunlight also throughout the year. So both solar and wind are doing very good in India, and it has a very good, plus now the major bottleneck was storage of that power, because solar gets generated only in a daytime. Wind, you are never certain when it will get generated.
True.
And then when you need the power, it's not there, and when we don't need it, it gets generated. So storage was one main bottleneck. But now very good solutions have come out.
Have you forayed into battery energy storage systems as well?
We are exploring that, and soon we'll be installing some. So we have decided to go more into renewable, because that has a very good future, and India really needs it. It will reduce our foreign exchange spendings also on this concern, and to make Bharat Atmanirbhar, as per Honorable Prime Minister's dream, renewable is also one of the important factors. So we'll definitely keep working on it.
I like to squeeze in a question on the current times and the scenario that you're seeing, because you would have seen such cycles in the past as well. But it seems to be a very difficult world right now, especially because while there were two conflicts going on, there's a third conflict that started, which is hitting energy infrastructure, and therefore energy costs go up. What are the implications of something like this for let's say an emerging market like India? You feel and is the renewable going the renewable way a panacea or a solution for some of the energy import problems that a country like India might have?
Definitely, renewable would be a very good long-term solution for all this, though it can't happen overnight. So there will be immediate setbacks because of this crisis. Fortunately, our government and India has not taken any side or has been in good relations with Russia also, with America also, with everybody, so that the import is happening. Even our vessels are being allowed by. So this friendship, the India has always kept positivity for everybody. हे विश्वची माझे घर सबको अपना समझ के भाईचारा बढ़ाने का काम इंडिया करते रही है, and that is paying off here. There will be immediately short-term shocks. Inflation will go up. Fortunately, inflation was under very good control since last 2-3 years. But this shock, but I'm quite sure that India will find solution. But renewable, yes, is one of the very good long-term remedy on this.
Got it. If I were to ask you, before I start talking about your success stories, if I were to ask you, you as a leader, as a business leader, yourself would also have seen a transformation, right? Could you talk about the 2 or 3 practices or habits that would, in your mind, transformed you from a hard-working businessman to a thoughtful leader of many businessmen? Because now there are multiple people who are working under your guidance to make the businesses thrive, right? So how did that transition happen? 2 or 3 practices or habits that you can talk about.
When you ask about habits, that immediately my favorite book comes to my mind was 7 Habits of
Highly
Effective People
Effective
by
People.
Stephen Covey. So 2 of his habits I feel are very valuable. I mean, all are good. First is be proactive. I mean, you have to focus on circle of influence. What's in your hand? Many times we focus on what is not in our hand. Government ने ये करना चाहिए, competitor ने ऐसा करना चाहिए, share market should do. I mean, you can't, climate conditions are going bad, communalism is rising, but things in your hand, if you focus on circle of influence more than circle of concern, that is one very important habit even in business, that you have to focus on what you can do. Now there has been a lot of duplication in our product. People, because the taxes are high, so duplicator gets a very premium of that taxes, it doesn't have to pay that. But then we geared up and we improved our own packing with holographic designs, with other things. So everywhere you have to see what you can do in given circumstances, in given resources. So focus on circle of influence rather than what is not in your hand, circle of concern, is one important habit that is the first habit in the 7 habits. Second very important habit from 7 habits again is important over urgent. Many times we focus only on urgent things and the important things which are not urgent, like upgrading yourself, learning new skills, and taking care of your health, doing regular exercise, all in personal and in business domain also, developing your subordinates, coaching them. These are all non-urgent but important activities. And many times you just focus on urgent or not urgent, not important kind of activities, and you don't get time for really important but not so urgent activities. So I owe you, important over urgent. I owe
Interesting.
you is should be the focus, and that's the habit that I feel that I owe you must be in your genes now. And you have to focus more on important things in life, then only you would be really successful and in control of your life. So this is the second habit, that focus more on that second quadrant of important, not urgent quadrant, and the activities in that, which some of the examples I mentioned.
Amazing.
So this is the second habit that I would.
And the third one, if at all. But the second one is amazing, by the way. This has got so many things, so many implications that I think people just tend to
even
miss.
sharpening your saw is one of the habit, but that is a part of second habit only. Like I keep going to various courses like Mahatriyara, Swami Sukhabodhanand, at times to IIM to gear up. We had a family separation long back in 1986, and any separation is a bit painful. My father, my uncle, they separated. But then I went to IIM just to learn how the family should stay together, how the communications can be improved, and all those other things. So these are all quadrant 2 activities. They are never urgent, but if you do them, if you focus on them, the life changes to a great extent. And the third habit, as I mentioned, focusing on attitude of gratitude, or what you can do with what you have. That is also very important. Focusing on attitude. That many times we feel, ऐसा क्यों हो गया, भगवान ने ये मेरे साथ क्यों किया, why he is getting more than me, though I am doing this, etc. But if you have attitude of gratitude, and if you focus on the white part of the paper
Instead of the dot.
that's not on the dot. And by the way, that dot, if you that illusion, if you have seen, if you focus more on the black dot, it gradually grows.
Yeah.
And if you focus on the white part, that gradually reduces black spot. So so that is interesting. And so that attitude of gratitude and focusing on the white part, what God has given, that has changed my way of looking at life.
Fascinating stuff. Rajeshji, now I just want to try and understand, you mentioned about how at various points of time in your journey, you've started different businesses. Maybe you closed down a few, but largely some of the businesses that you've built on are now rising. So in some sense, you moved from a family-owned, owning a single business, if you will, to a conglomerate structure, wanting to build out a world-class organization. I presume that would be the genesis. How did that come about? What were the guiding points for that? Because there are many facets to a world-class organization, right? One is the kind of perks that you give to employees versus what you would normally do in a smaller organization. Two, the opportunities that you give to non-family members versus what you would do otherwise, right? So tell us a bit about this journey.
Yeah, definitely. Being in a small town, again, there were challenges of getting, higher level people. So we always followed that principle of Pura given by Dr. Abdul Kalam. That's provide urban facilities in rural area. So we tried to create whatever possible urban facilities in Sangamner. There was nothing in Sangamner. Now we are sitting in this Dhruva Global School, which is the best school you can say in maybe India, in a rural part of India.
I must say, it is fascinating.
And the kind of journey, like I studied from a Marathi medium school because that time we had no options. And when I went first time for my visa interview, when I went to Nagpur for my engineering, being of Marathi background, I was always a backbencher, never participated in debates, etc. because we had that inferiority complex that time. Yeah. It's only when my result came out and I was third in the class, the class realized that there is somebody like Rajesh Malpani in our class, because we never participated in debates because of our English background. When I went for my visa interview, I got admission in a good American
You studied
university.
in the US, right? I was going to come to that, but yes, please finish your point, sir.
And then when I went for interview, I could not understand what that lady is asking at all. So I was, pardon me, excuse me, finally she said, okay, I'm giving you visa because you have got a scholarship and a very good rank, but all the best. So from that background, we then wanted to create the best possible infrastructure here for our own kids and our staff kids and for the locals here. Similarly, other things also, we have constructed a nice health club and resort here, a nice multiplex which was not there in Sangamner. So whatever facilities possible which normally people look for when they stabilize anywhere, that were created with. Plus we gave a kind of a family type of atmosphere to all the incoming members. I mean, that has been also our principle right from our fathers, that it's not family business, it's doing business like a family. So everybody who is associated with the family business should be your extended family. May it be our supplier, may it be our banker, may it be our investor, whosoever it is. I mean, and in his bad times, we should also see that it's one of the family members in, and it has also done miracles. I mean, Tulsibai Tanti had come to us for his first, he had started renewable Suzlon, and it was our first project. So he came to Sangamner to take that first order. And we developed very strong, good relations. We built a lot of Suzlon projects also. But later on, when Suzlon came into trouble, and they wanted us to invest a little bit in Suzlon if we wish to, obviously, we decided, share was at some 3-4 rupees. Let's, as a support, let's invest. And we invested some 10 CR and it became 100 CR. I mean, we thought that this is just a help, that we are going to do the company without any expectation. But you never know in what ways God will pay back if your deeds are with clear heart and good mind. So such things keep happening in business. Anyway, I lost a little bit.
No,
track.
you didn't.
So
you were explaining it perfectly. I was effectively trying to ask you that as you grow from a single family to a world-class organization, what are the things that you have to do? And you were beautifully explaining that the things that you've done for people and for the place to attract the people.
Yeah, even our saw small pawn shops in Kolhapur, there was a heavy rain and there was flood, and a lot of pawn shops were totally in water.
Yeah.
We sent our team and to each pawn shop because nobody was ready to give them anything on credit also. We give them kit with 1,000 rupees MRP free, just this is your seed capital, start your business. And that costed us maybe 200, 300 rupees only. MRP was 1,000 rupees.
Yeah.
But it was a seed capital for that person, and he remembers that in my bad times, this is the company that stood for me. And that remains in his mind for a lifetime. So wherever, I mean, not with that in mind, but we keep doing good things with all our associated, and that is true even for our staff also.
Got it.
Wherever.
But in some sense, from what I recollect in a conversation with your team, that for you, you've studied in the US, but you came back to India and to Sangamner because you wanted to be a part of your dharti, as you call it.
Right.
And in some sense, you've told, right, that you wanted to Sangamner's standard of living to improve as well and come up, and which is why maybe you've done all the things that you have, right? You have a world-class school, you have if I'm not wrong, a very good club, you have a multiplex, as you just said, and many more things.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yeah. Well, when I went to US for studies, 1982 to 84, and 7 of us, we classmates, went from Nagpur LIT College, Engineering College, to pursue our MS. 6 of them settled there. I was the only one to come back. Even my guide asked me, why you are going back? People come to India, to USA with their dreams. And this is the place where dreams get true, not to your country. Why you are going back? Because that time on television also, these missionaries were showing all Jhopadpatti of India and the worst part of India to collect money for their activity. So they had that image of India that snakes are there on the street and cows running everywhere. So the image they had, they used to see all the Jhopadpattis in the TV shows. So he told me, don't go back to India. This is a country where and none of my classmates also came back. But I had that, he told me that, okay, you are going, but if kabhi recession aa gaya, if you lose your job, come back to, I will arrange a job for you. I said, sir, young blood tha us samay, that if something goes wrong in America, and if the recession comes, come to India. Ours is a developing country. I know, ek josh rehta hai, but I really wanted to come back to Sangamner, had a different pool. My father used to write me very nice letters. We have published also those letters in Patra Sanskar book. And he used to always write about Swami Vivekananda's thoughts, some Jonathan Livingston Seagull's story, or something like that, which was, he didn't take out, we didn't go for common trips very often, but he took us to Swami Vivekananda's Kendra in Kanyakumari. And there, sitting on the rock, he sang that song of Savarkar, poem of Savarkar, Ne mazasi ne paratamatra bhumila sadara pranataramalala, on the shore of the sea. And that really was so much in us. Ne mazasi ne parat matrubhumi. Matrubhumi mein wapas aana hai aur jo karna hai yahan karna hai. So my guide also had told, yes, people come. I also came here with the dream. But the place to fulfill that dream is my matrubhumi. I want to go back and do it. And it's not only these things. Wherever we got associated in Sangamner also, a local cooperative bank was founded by my father. Now I am looking after it. It is doing some 1,000 crore business. This March it will touch. A college in Sangamner, which is owned by society. But Sanjay, my younger brother, looks after it. A+ grade in that. So everywhere it's doing wonderful job. I mean, all those, my other cousin, he looks after Lion Sapphire, and he is doing various projects for town. So everybody in some way or other is involved in social activities, may it be tree plantation and many such activities.
You often describe the group as a professionally managed family business. Now, what does this mean on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, that's, as I told, we treat our business and all the extension of business as a family.
But the professionally managed talent has now been attracted meaningfully.
Yeah, we
at
have
various levels
hired
in the group.
good professionals in all the sectors, with the experience, with their technical background, academics. They are also looking after the business, but at the same time, they are also become our family members. So it's more like they have given they have equal say. The discussions go on table just as all are family members, and everybody's vote is respected. Whatever their views are there, they are also respected equally like a family member's view. So it's a family business also. Family has a different kind of attachment with the business. And in India, as 80% plus businesses are family managed businesses, the decision makings are fast. They look for long term this thing. Many times only corporate business will look at a quarterly result, but the family business will look at a legacy as a long term this thing. So continuing that long term thing in mind, all this professionalism also has been merged with.
But Rajesh, if you list your businesses and one of them is listed, if the others, as and when they come for listing, you will be also forced into this compulsion of looking at it from a quarterly basis.
That is okay. But that should not be the only focus. The major focus should be on a larger picture and a long-term goal.
Okay.
A long-term goal, you have to break into short-term, but only doing short-term, as I said earlier also, just having a valuation game, let's do this, let's do that, और किसी को चिपका दो, वाला कभी भी aim नहीं था. We wanted to create the best thing. In all the verticals, we followed this PPT principle. People, processes and technology. In that, people is first because they are the one who will be driving the processes and technology also. So everywhere the people are given the prime importance. When I entered our family business, we used to have strike every year in the factory because it was highly labor intensive. We had no automation, no machinery that time. And it was like yearly event, sometimes 10 days strike. In 1988, we had 35 days factory closure strike. And
It's
that
like
was
Diwali, har saal aati hai.
Har saal that strike used to happen. And then we sat down and introspected what we can do, what are the pain points. And we came out with lot of solution on that. Like the worker used to borrow for his daughter's or his son's marriage. वो साहूकारी कर्जा रहता था at a very high interest rate, where they used to borrow 1,000 rupees and pay weekly 100 rupees, 1,100 rupees. The interest was working out to 45%. So we started a mass marriage program for their kids. Just
Mass marriage program. Okay.
So it's like 30, 40 couples will get married at a time. Each one is given 200 invitations, so to give it to their families. And the common invitations to the co-workers and other people was already there. So 10, 12,000 people will have their lunch on that particular day. इतने लोग मेरे शादी में भी खाना नहीं खाए थे.
Of course.
इतने लोग वहाँ रहते हैं. And so it's an annual event. So far, almost 1,400 got married in that mass marriage program. Every year we have it on Akshay Tritiya. It was started keeping workers in mind because they used to borrow for it. They used to take leave. And they used to remain absent for months.
So you're saying the company does a mass marriage program for the workers who can get married there?
Yeah. And
at the company's expense?
Yeah, at total company's expenses. We take 1 rupee registration from them just so that they are serious about registering.
शादी तो होनी चाहिए.
And then they are given basic things like a steel cupboard and a cot and some 6 plates and katoris and a bed cover. So basic things to start their independent this thing. And now anybody can participate it. And we have this marriage for Hindu, Muslim, Buddha, Christian, all in one premises as per their rituals. वो बौद्ध गुरु भी आता है, पादरी भी आता है, और मुल्ला जी भी आते हैं, and they do it their way. And it's a very, very nice. इतना बड़ा crowd रहता है तो बड़े-बड़े ministers भी आ जाते हैं. And everybody is a win-win fun. The attendance improved, their borrowing reduced, वो साहूकारी loan बंद हो गया, and we started calling a doctor in factory itself. So alternate day doctor comes and take care of worker and their family members, because if they go outside, unnecessary 10 tests they are forced to do. So all that was saved. We did. My father had started cooperative societies for workers because they used to borrow at a high rate. Instead of that, some monthly minor deduction was done from their salary as a kitty to that Pata Sanstha. And now that worker and staff, there are 2 separate Pata Sansthas, cooperative societies, and their own capital is more than 13 crores as on today, that staff and workers. And whenever they need money, they borrow it at 7 or 8%. And whatever interest they have to pay goes as a dividend to shareholders. So it has worked out such nicely, and so there's no more stress. And if in a marriage season time or any time that society needs money, the company will also give the loan. So a lot of such small things were done to solve their day-to-day. We started nice Ganesh processions. Or Ganpati Bappa Moria. So those who are saying Murdabad, Murdabad, you need some vent for their energy. So that was given productive vent तो वो मुर्दाबाद बोलने वाले मोरिया बोलने लगे, and their kids and everybody used to participate. We took all the workers and their kids also in rotation to water parks, on picnic, etc. So they have that feeling of that this belongs to me and this is mine. So lot of such activities were done for workers
अब
and
तो
stuff.
एक साल आके संगमनेर में रहना पड़ेगा राजेश जी. This is fabulous what you're doing. Okay, I'm gonna try and now focus a bit on the philosophy of risk and opportunity that you as a businessman have. I presume that a lot of your bets would be bold bets because bold bets lead to outside successes, I presume. How would you differentiate between taking a bold bet versus something that might become a reckless, pursuing a reckless opportunity or pursuing an opportunity slightly recklessly? Is there a difference there?
Yeah, I will admit that our group is bit conservative group. It is not very bullish in reckless, over-leveraged positions that will borrow heavily and
You've not done
create
anything
some-
like that in your history.
We have borrowed heavily, but that was with a solid PPA,
Okay.
backing the projects and knowing the projects. I mean, first couple of projects we do on our own also. Like even for park, the first Shirdi Park we did on our own. Then for Imagica, we raised the money with other ways. But so that principle we have always followed, to do it small, to test the water and then make it big. At times we might have lost the opportunities also. I mean, to become suddenly big, to go for valuation game, we might have missed that bus, but I am happy. I am also happy, that question you asked why you came back, and I am happy that instead of that 10 to 5 job, nice comfortable job in US, our group could create more than 10,000 jobs in India. And all these families got support of the group. So all this goes hand in hand.
So no reckless jobs. But okay, there is a difference in the businesses. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But from a wind business, which has got the backing of solid PPAs, to maybe the FMCG business, which is a great cash flow business, real estate in which people mostly pay advance bookings for the flats, and therefore is cash flow upfront as well, right? In some sense, in some real estate businesses as well, to maybe this theme park business, when there's a lot of investment upfront without the confirmed knowledge of attendance in theme parks. So how do you kind of get around taking a large bet on a business like the theme and the amusement parks versus all the other businesses that you have done all through your life cycle?
Yeah. Real estate, as you mentioned, that people pay in advance. But nowadays, most of the builders wait because RERA and other things. There are a lot of restrictions if the project gets delayed because of government permissions or any other reason not in your hand. The whole project goes for toss, and we have seen builders suffering very badly because of taking small advances and booking the flats or promising something which couldn't be delivered later on, and they had to pay heavily for it. Apart, I mean, that was, but while investing in parks, definitely we are not very sure about the numbers, and we do homework, like we study what will be the worst case and what will be the optimistic case and the best case. What are the other catchment areas, like school trips, the corporate events that can happen to the in the vicinity, what other things we can, but with all that work also, like I shared with you our amusement park story, things can go wrong. Yeah. And then you have to have some arrangement, like we merged both parks together. And independently, amusement would have been a failure. But after merging it, it became a synergetic activity, and people had both options. We could accommodate much larger crowds inside the park, and whoever wanted whichever ride was possible. So you have to find out the ways to come out of such stressful.
Okay, interesting. Okay, let me try and rephrase my question, if you will.
Okay.
If you were to take a bet right now, a bold bet, if you will, you are conservative, but within the boundaries of you being conservative, if there is a bet that you're taking which is slightly bold, what do you as a business leader bank on more? Is it numbers on an Excel sheet extrapolated and then a discounted cash flow, if you will, or is it a gut feel? Because some businessmen have that gut feel and which is what separates them from others? Or is it maybe conversations with a core group of inner people and trying to take a decision? What is that? What is the key driver for you?
Yeah. I will say that we have to, I mean, all these three parameters that you mentioned have their own weightage in this thing. Definitely we'll go more on numbers and data first, that with our historical experience in that particular vertical, what are the things, what can go wrong, payments where they will get delayed if it's a renewable project, what are the state policies where it can. So all that is studied properly. So data and number is definitely important. Gut feeling is how comfortable we are in that particular vertical, what has been our experience, and that is what creates that gut feeling. And obviously the team's input, and if does all the family members and the professionals associated, are they all on the same page? Sometimes we have given up some good projects also because there was not the decision was not unanimous. We decided let's not do it. I mean, there are so many other opportunities. Why think of कि ये नहीं किया इसलिए ये नुकसान हो गया, ये किया इसलिए ये फायदा हो गया. Again you go on that white path. And so such things have happened. I mean, in real estate also, my youngest cousin, he looks after real estate in Pune. He had got one project. The other brothers felt that this is very close to railway station. It will make a lot of noise. It's not feasible. Let's just drop it. But someone else did that project and it was a very successful project. But he never complained. I mean, he said, fine, I did some other project which has been very well. So such things keep happening. So even for bigger bet, all three parameters have some weightage. We don't go only with gut feeling. मुझे लगता है तो कर देंगे, जो होगा देखा जाएगा. Not that well. So.
Okay, interesting. The other aspect is this whole thing that most people are doing, which is now have an investment arm attached to the business, a family office structure attached to the business. And I've seen a lot of successful businesses do that because not every time that a business opportunity presents itself, and you still want that capital to go in good investments to yield good returns. True. What are your thoughts on this aspect?
No, that is also an important part. We have also started our own family business office and we are building it gradually. And that vertical also will become, because with inflows from renewable and other projects, that we are building. Only it should not, I mean, sometimes what I see is some of the youngsters in HNI families feel that the business is a lot of headache. Operational headaches are there, bureaucratic, government problems. Many times father comes and says, ये बेकार हो गया, ये बेकार हो गया. तो बच्चों को लगने लगता है कि doing business is hell. So rather than that, let me just invest in somebody else's business.
You're not in favor of that.
So I am not, पुरुषार्थ भी होना चाहिए. I mean, I am not against it. We should explore and take advantages of that also. But at the same time, if everybody does only investment, who will do the business? So we should be doing business also. I mean, जो पुरुषार्थ है, जो skills हमको भगवान ने दिए हैं, जो strength अपने में है, तो कुछ न कुछ we must do some purusharth and do some active business also, though it has its own challenges.
Okay, so both could go hand in hand.
Yeah.
I mean, you will do businesses also, but at the same time, this development also could work out.
It's this and that. The principle that Mahatria teaches, that you need not go for this or that. You can always go for this and that. You need not be only spiritual or only materialistic. You can be spiritual also, but you can create wealth also, because ultimately that's money. So at which spiritual institute is not rich?
Well, that's one way of looking at it.
all spiritual institutes may be Vatican or may be Tirupati Balaji. So they go hand in hand. So we should not say कि spiritual है यानी ये छोड़ देना है, और ये करना है तो spirituality छोड़ देना है. Both can go hand in hand.
Yeah. In fact, I would say they are rich and they are powerful as well at the same time. So there are some rich families which may not be powerful, but spiritual institutes are rich and powerful both, I would say.
Very true.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. Sir, all through this conversation, you've emphasized a lot on the family members and the fact that the three cousins and two brothers and the next generation are all in this business together. Tell us a bit about your organizational culture. I mean, how do you stop I mean, मतलब वो कहते हैं कि जितने बर्तन ज़्यादा उतना आवाज़ ज़्यादा, right? So how do you try and reduce the friction, if you will, when so many business heads are in the same group? They may be in different businesses, but eventually folding into the same group, right? Tell us a bit about the culture.
Yeah, definitely that challenge is there with all joint family businesses. I many times ask this question. I don't know whether you have seen that movie Dirty, and वो बोलते हैं फिल्म सिर्फ तीन चीज़ों पे चलती है. Entertainment, entertainment, and entertainment. So I say that joint family business, or that way any kind of joint venture, may it be or social venture also, runs on three things: communication, communication, and communication. Communication is very important. कई बार क्या होता है, suppose my Pune cousin brother, he starts some project in Baner, and if some of my friend ask me, अरे आपने बानेर में प्रोजेक्ट चालू किया, वहाँ क्या रेट है? बानेर में चालू किया, मुझे मालूम ही नहीं, मुझे बाहर से मालूम पड़ा, मुझे पूछा नहीं, मुझे बताया नहीं. This is the start of, or sometimes that dilemma comes, how I should ask. ये कैसे पूछूं, ये भाई ने मेरा बिजनेस इतना बड़ा किया है, ये गलत कर रहा है, मुझे दिख रहा है ये इसमें लॉस होने वाला है, बट हाउ डू आई आस्क दिस क्वेश्चन? दैट डायलेमा कम्स, एंड दैट डायलेमा रियली देन टर्म्स टू deviation, and then differences, and finally destruction happens because of that initial dilemma. पूछूं क्या, कैसे पूछूं? बिल्कुल, there has to be transparency, there has to be proper communication. So we have developed good communication channels. We have very religious weekly meetings. Okay. Every Wednesday morning, 10 o'clock online. Now, fortunately, after Corona, Zoom has become Zoom and other medias. So we have religious meeting of 90 minutes where everybody shares what is new happening, or if some new project has come, he will present as he is presenting before investor committee, IC. This is the project, whether we should do it or not. And if everybody agrees, then he has the independence to take it forward, to do it his way. We don't go into details of gallery kitni honi chahiye or area, but initial sanctions will be unanimous. So we jointly decide what we should. So that communication is important. Transparency is very important. Everybody should know what's happening. Financial discipline is utterly important. We have our monthly salary fixed. Every month I will get that much amount in my bank account, and I can spend that salary the way I want. Besides that, whatever I have to spend, suppose that there is a marriage of my daughter, or if I am building a new house, then I have to borrow certain amount from my capital. And on the capital that I borrow, I won't get interest. Others will keep getting interest if their capital is with the group. That discipline will. Whatever I am borrowing, everybody should transparently know that within this year, this member has borrowed this fund for this reason. We are not allowing any individual investments. Whatever investments are there, besides your own house, jewelry, etc., all are in common pool. Otherwise, sometimes that feeling comes, he is looking after shares and he invested his money properly, but the common money is not used properly. All those feelings, to avoid any such dilemmas, we have decided to keep common investments. So a lot of such small rules. There are rules, but if you want to play any game in a team, you have to follow the rules. If you play solitaire alone, if you want to play cards, or if you play chess with computer, you can backtrack your move it forward, force him to move. But while playing in team, you have to follow the rules, and the journey has been wonderful so far.
That's right.
It is an African saying, I think, that if you want to walk fast, walk alone. But if you want to walk far, walk together. And our journey to now 4th and 5th generation together has been a wonderful journey, and I will say that walk together is the mantra of it.
Wait, last. I think this will help a lot of businesses as well. There is a large number of next generation family members who are probably now working alongside you. How is that communication? Because some of them, like you, may have studied abroad, but in the current contemporary times, AI, etc., and stuff like that, the experiences would be very different versus what's happening back home in Sangam there. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to ask you, how is that layer and that communication ecosystem?
Yeah, first of all, obviously education is very important. So anybody who wants to enter, he should take proper best possible education in the vertical that he wants to work, related education if possible. Education, then some exposure is also very important. So my son was working he did his industrial engineering graduation from USA. Then I made him work there for first 6 months as an internship to learn what way that business is being run. So exposure is also important because that is the time you can learn from outside and then come and apply it in your business. Later on, you can do MBA where sometimes now that family MBA courses are there where you do both things simultaneously, business as well as learn, apply, learn, etc. So education, exposure, and discipline also is a must when you join the business. I mean, one should not join the business ki I am just enter in the cabin and sit in the cabin and now I am the owner. He is the trustee of the business. He has to work as a trustee to grow that business further, to keeping interest of all the associated in mind. That's how the journey should be. It should not be मैं आ गया और मालिक बन गया. He has to enter as a internship even in your business.
Yeah.
Mix up properly, learn to give respect to your old employees and their skills. Many times coming from America, when I came from America and there was a strike in factory and I stood thinking that I know a lot and I started saying something. एक worker पीछे से बोला अमेरिका से सीख के हमको मत सिखा. We are doing this business in 30 years. You know that
This actually happened.
I mean, yeah, this has actually happened. I mean, so you have to respect their experience and your education, and merge of both, best of both can really do wonderful job. So responsibility with authority. I mean, their owner is their authority, but the responsibility is equally important and it goes hand in hand.
Okay. And what about non-family members who are seeking a career path in the group, because it's now a very large group? How do you accommodate that communication within what typically happens in an Indian ecosystem, that the family member will eventually be the leader, right? So how does that work out?
Yeah, that's what I said earlier also, that we involve them looking at his strengths, which vertical he should be working, where is the need of his skills, etc. But his view is given always equal weightage. It's never that because the family member is there and he is something, he is saying, ये east है तो ये east नहीं है. What your compass will show is east. So it has to be jointly decided. So it's not neither him nor him. It's compass that will tell. So.
Okay. Now, a bit about the future. How do you see from where you are right now and the size that you may have? I mean, some brief indication there. And what do you see the group to be like, let's say, in the next 5 years or next 10 years? I mean, 10 years is too long a time frame in the current instance wherein a week is maybe longer than years at times.
Yeah.
But how do you see the future?
See, world has become so dynamic. I mean, the things which used to take earlier maybe 10 years to change now take less than 10 months or maybe a month to change. I mean, you have to keep adopting to new technologies, so that PPT you have to keep following in whichever vertical you work on. Okay. But we have not planned something like, from 10 years now or from 50 years now, this is the size that will be. We are doing our work and our duties and following that PPT structure in all the verticals religiously. Do your best and फल की इच्छा नहीं रखना है बहुत. कर्म अच्छे करते रहना है बस.
पर फिर भी कुछ तो टारगेट जैसा कुछ होगा.
Because sometimes then target not achieved gives you frustration.
So you don't have targets at all set for 5 years?
I mean, not really, because see, in FMCG, our ancestors' family business of tobacco, we don't know what will be the government policies. Something may go wrong and it may suddenly change. So we keep working on that. I mean, whatever research I have told you about smoking, other things, such things also we keep doing, but at the same time, things not in my hand, we cannot do. Like renewable was growing at a very high speed. If I would have set a target in maybe 2017, it would have been 3 gigawatt by today. Because we were growing at that speed, adding more than 100 megawatt every year. But suddenly government policies have changed, and that speed that pace we could not keep later on. So that's what I'm saying, that we will do best for that journey and enjoy the journey.
Okay. Okay, fair call. Can I ask you that because now you have the size and the ability to venture into most businesses that you may want to, right? What are the most exciting opportunities in India that you believe, if opportunity presents, you would want to be a part of, beyond what you're already doing? So let's say you're doing agro, FMCG, real estate, in a bit of other businesses. What else would you believe you want to be a part of?
Yeah, some businesses which are related to businesses also can be thought of, like real estate to data center, where you
thinking about it?
Yeah, I mean, we are exploring possibilities, nothing materialized so far. Or along with education, other things which are connected with that, like supplies to various schools, teachers training, colleges, or other verticals in that. Totally unrelated field we have not explored so far, but that all depends on the Gen X which has come and their aspirations, etc. But jointly, preference would be to the businesses where some of our skill sets can be used, some of our core strengths can be used easily. And the family business office, as we discussed, is another important thing that we are working on.
Okay. So we've spoken a lot about your success and the things that you learned from the failures as well. What worries you, Mr. Malpani? Is it geopolitics? Is it maybe governance? Is it the fact that if the family is too large, does it stay together the way it has thus far? Culture? What worries you the most about the future?
Yeah, geopolitical things that we are seeing happening recently in last 3-4 years, unnecessary wars happening on all fronts, the kind of destruction that's happening in that country, and what the local have to face for no fault of theirs. The kids have to suffer, parentless kids, and all kind of, that is definitely the communism, the communal things that is rising everywhere. That is also another big worry that I feel. For joint family, definitely we have to work on that nothing goes wrong. Whatever best possible, जो भी पेड़ का निगाह रखना है, keep watering it properly, keep giving fertilizer, keep pruning the weeds around, the negativity. If it comes anywhere, you have to weed it out in time. So nothing happens automatically. You have to work on it to stay the larger family together. Also, you have to work on it, and you have to keep weeding out the things and nurturing the positive things. So in some things where things are in our hand, other things which are not in our hand, we are helpless. I mean, our culture has been that we have never evaded or did war with any other countries on our own. We believe that hey, Vishwachi Maje Ghara, ये पूरा विश्व मेरा घर है and everybody is my brother. Swami Vivekananda, when he said my brothers and sister, there
Yeah,
wasn't. So from that we are inheriting that culture in Indian philosophy. But so we can create best schools like this where we can create a youth with positive mindset and that culture. So whatever is in our hand, we'll keep
Will
doing.
do. Got it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, last couple of questions, sir. One is a lot of young entrepreneurs are nowadays looking up to people who built out successful businesses. So if you had to give one advice or two piece or some advice to young entrepreneurs, whether in the manufacturing sector or otherwise, what would that be? As they are looking to set up new businesses across the country, in various states, in various lines of business, but there must be some commonalities. What would your advice be?
Yeah, it's very difficult to say again, depending on his background, whether he's coming from the family business of his own or whether he wants to start up something.
Let me make it easy for you, sir.
Yeah.
A lot of young entrepreneurs these days are not necessarily from family-owned businesses, and which is why family offices are giving them capital to start businesses, and and they are very careful and conscious of the fact that they have to be successful, and therefore they look up to business leaders as to what are the best practices that they should have at the start of their career, at the start of their enterprise, to ensure that they are successful. What would you advise them?
Yeah, what I will say is definitely India is now going into that towards developed country and taking steps in that direction. The digitalization is growing at a massive level. In a small bank that we are running here, cooperative bank, now 70% plus transactions are happening on UPI only. The cash is gradually going away. So all these technical things are happening and youth is coming out with lot of technical backgrounds and their own skills. अमृत काल है देश के लिए, बहुत अच्छी चीज़ें हैं सबके लिए. So those only they have to be passionate, focused on that particular things that they take. You should not lose the focus. You should not divert too much that ये भी कर लूँ, वो भी कर लूँ, ये भी कर लूँ. Have proper focus and hard and smart work combined will definitely make them winners. And you can't tell success formula in one line, so you have to adopt various other things simultaneously. But the opportunities are enormous, and India is going to be a developed country soon.
Okay, is there a book that they can read? Any book recommendation?
Yeah, now again, depending on what this
But
7
something
habits.
that you like, sir. Doesn't
7
matter.
habits is one of my
7
favorite
habits of
book
highly
because
effective.
somebody has to have all these 7 habits in his life. But other books like Marketing Warfare is one of my favorite book, where Trott and Alrice, they have told how 4 types of war, offensive, defensive, guerrilla, and flanking war is done in business on day to day with lot of nice case studies. That is also a very good book. Focus by the same author team is another very good, that how to stay focused. Lot of good podcasts are also there. So well, all this material and quadrant 2 activities must continue.
Got it. My final question, Mr. Malpani. If you had to go back in time to your younger self, 30 years back or 35 years back, and correct 1 or 2 things, or ability to make 1 or 2 corrections, what would those be, if at all?
If at all, I mean, there is no rewind button in life.
Yeah, but if I
You can't rewind.
if I'm God and I'm telling you that I'm giving you the opportunity, what would you do?
Something which is not possible. Why think of it?
No,
I
okay,
will
the
say
genesis
that
of
there is
the-
no rewind button.
No,
How to go forward with that learning? Yes.
Okay, no, but okay, let me try and tell you the genesis of this question. A lot of people, when they look back in life, think that, so there are these 10 mistakes that I did. If I could have done this one thing differently, then it would have been really good. And therefore, it becomes a bit of a learning for them, which is where I was coming from. Do you have any such moment?
Yeah, I mean, there would be some moments like that. Some of the investments that we did which went wrong, the corrections that we should have done at that time, or some thought process that we should have applied at that time. Such things are there. But since there is no rewind button, I am not bothered that much. But how to take the learning, apply today, and move from here onwards so that it doesn't happen again is what is important. That's what I feel.
Exceptional thoughts. Thank you so much, Mr. Malpani, for having us here, for your amazing hospitality, and for the fabulous wisdom that you've given to me, and I'm sure to all the viewers as they see this episode. I really, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure and my privilege that you all have come here. Thanks to Nuama and thanks to NDTV team. Thank you so much, and thank you all of you.